Jack, we're back in New York City, but not too long ago. Where were we?
Yeehaw! We were in Austin, Gino, and what a time it was. A great week, and we did some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, we kicked off our first ever Agency City tour, and we visited 5 agencies, Jack. Bakery, McGarrett Jesse, Preacher, Callan, and of course, GSD&M.
Yeah, small agencies, bigger agencies, agencies that have only been around for a couple years, agencies that have been around for decades. And I'm really excited about what you're going to see by having all this content come out in the same week. Because what you'll find is that everyone has a little bit of a different opinion on what Austin means, both culturally and in the advertising industry. But also, there's some interesting through lines that, regardless of what agency you're working at, can apply to everyone. So excited about it. And some crazy stuff happens as well.
Yeah, let's figure out what it's like to work in advertising in Austin. Kick it, Ellie.
Gino.
Hey, we're at Preacher here in Austin, part of our Austin Week, trying to figure out 2 things. What is it like to work in advertising within Austin? And then number 2, for this episode specifically, what is it like to work at Preacher? Who are we here speaking with today?
I'm Krystle Loyland. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO.
And I'm Rob Baird, one of the co-founders and chief creative officer.
There we freaking go.
Thank you so much for coming to see us. This is
place
awesome.
is sick.
Wow. The place is
Thank you,
unbelievable. We were mentioning it, but I think it gets a lot of buzz. I think the building, the office, there's a little bit of an allure for people outside of Austin, especially you think about big cities, they're in office buildings. This feels like such a different environment just from the building and the office itself. Do you feel that from people on the outside that have this thought of Preacher's office in Austin?
I think we do a little bit. I think that's very nice of you to say, by the way. I think we're proud of that. We put a lot of energy into trying to make this a place that people would hopefully want to come work at every day and make the best work of their careers, and also a place that our clients want to not leave us from. And so, yeah, I think we feel that a little bit, but it's really nice to hear. So thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. A couple months ago, we did a tournament for agency positionings. I'm fascinated by agency positionings. What are their, how do they show up in the world? How do they talk about themselves? Are they creative themselves when they're bringing their brand to the world? And Preacher won it all. We had 32. It was a 32-team bracket. Brian Bonilla and I, who's the senior reporter at Ad Age, went through 32 positioning statements, and Preacher won it all. I believe the final was between Preacher and Standard Practice, and you guys won it all for spreading the good word, and it ripples throughout the halls here. So I was really excited to get here and see, is the branding internally as good as how you guys show up externally? And it absolutely is. I took some notes, if you will, on some things that I saw here that kind of go into that positioning. First things first, where are we sitting in? What do you guys call this space?
We're in Chapel West.
Chapels.
It does look like a chapel. It's not technically west of anything. I think we have a Chapel East as well, and the person who named it
Directionally challenged.
was directionally challenged. So this might actually be technically Chapel South.
Yep.
But we call it Chapel West.
I love it. Yeah, just like the things, like the little things, like calling it chapels. I saw pews out there in like the lunchroom. Other notes that I took here, the gallery, I think, is also something that we'll definitely want to talk about.
Sure.
There's a lot of things that you can tell are really well thought out in this space.
I have a question, Krystle, as CEO. It's probably easy for Rob to say as chief creative officer, it matters a lot. It really moves the needle. Does it really matter, like having this going so in deep on this positioning?
Does it drive revenue
and driving the business forward?
It matters a lot. And I think it was something that Rob understood inherently when we started Preacher, and we had some remnant space in our old building, and we decided to put a gallery there and start hosting shows. And at that point, it wasn't really a cost decision. It was like, we have the room, we can DIY this, let's do it. But when you think about moving into this space and actually making an argument for the square footage, how's it going to pay for itself? Is it actually a revenue driver? And I would say, on paper, not super technically. We don't do a lot of what we do because it's because the gallery, for instance, is a huge profit driver. It's not. But I think over the years, we've realized that there's an intangible value to all of it. I mean, there's I can't count on all my fingers and toes how many amazing client partners we've met through, community events we've put on or gallery shows that we've done, how many artists we've worked with that have then ended up getting commercial gigs because of the work that we've done. Or it's probably something I'll never be able to measure, but how much our staff, decides to stick around and feels pride about this place because of those things that we do. So we're lucky that I don't have a super high bar for how this stuff pays for itself, and neither does our CFO. I think everybody believes in the vision and understands that this is all part of what we do.
I love it. I love it. So I want to back things up and learn about Austin and what portion of how is Austin influencing the agency? How are you guys trying to influence Austin?
I mean, I'll tell you that when we started Preacher in 2014, two Texans and a New Yorker coming home for Krystle and I, we were a little bit anxious about coming back to Austin, even though we sort of felt like it was our spiritual home, just like there was great agencies here, great friends of ours doing well here. And we honestly felt a little bit, I don't know if insecure is the right word, definitely conscious of coming at a time when there was a lot of change going on in Austin. And I have to say that the sort of generosity and open arms and stoke that all the other agencies and design firms and stuff showed us from like day one. And you can't fake that, the warmth of like what's good for Austin is good for all of us.
Yeah.
That immediately seeped into like our culture as an agency, as did at the time it was like maker culture was the big talk, at least in New York where we were working, of like makers. Every spirits company wanted to find the makers, every fashion company wanted to feature the makers. And when we got to Austin, it wasn't people just talking about making, it was people making stuff happen and helping each other make it with no sort of expectation of like, but what's in it for me? It was just people wanting to see their friends succeed in whatever creative endeavor. And so the combination of the gallery, many of these makers that worked on our first office and helped us do some of our first experiential projects and things, plus that sort of generous spirit of the town, I think it made us roll how we roll even more than we would have probably intended. Like we sometimes joke Austin's like our fourth partner. And it's not to say a nice thing. I actually think had we done this company somewhere else, we wouldn't be Preacher. We'd be something else. And I'm proud that we're Preacher. So,
and I think, even though we are Texans at the core, we were New Yorkers for a long time. And New York is an incredibly special place. I don't think in many ways, you can't beat it. But coming down here, I think this place changed us and sort of how we operate. One of the things that we noticed in that generosity of spirit was that sometimes when you have a really good idea, you hold it close. You don't let anybody see it. You want to make sure it's perfect before it's out in the world, and you don't want anyone to steal it. That doesn't exist in Austin. Anyone who's working on something wants to sort of share it, wants to sort of open source it, and wants to hear what people think about it. And that transparency, I think, really influenced how we work here.
And how we work with our clients.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine we're all used to a little bit like, it's not either it's not perfect yet, or we've got to be the ones that make the magic. And I think it's really, the clients are asking for this anyway. The collaboration is the key to this sort of modern business we're all in. And I think we got taught that partly by Austin.
Yeah. There's this sense we hear a lot about individualism in Austin and like each person, if you're a maker. And I think that bleeds into like, you see, and like not in a cheesy, corny, manufactured way, but there's a lot of like street art and there's a lot of like murals that just exist. And there's a lot of people that make stuff and you have a gallery of local artists here. So I'm wondering, how does that bleed into like what you make as a creative agency when you're surrounded by that inspiration, whether it's the actual like art itself or like the talent and the resources of people that could potentially be working at Preacher? I'm very curious as to how that all bleeds into a creative agency.
Well, I think compared to New York, for instance, or any other major city, Austin is probably still a teenager in terms of, the art and culture that it creates. But teenagers are fun and exciting and do a lot of cool shit. So it's actually been interesting to be able to be a part of that and experiment with our own gallery and our own newsprint zine and being able to help contribute to what is a growing art scene here. The kind of culture that's always been here is probably a lot more in music and food and hospitality. And I think that absolutely influences what we do, influences our mode of operation, and influences probably why we have a recording studio and why we care so much about music and food and art here at Preacher.
Yeah. So for advertising specifically within this city, like what is your pitch or proposal to somebody that's like to move here to work in advertising specifically?
I mean, a lot of people that have come to work here, I think, either are kind of boomeranging back because they have some kind of history in Texas and Austin. Maybe they have family here. Maybe they want to start a family of their own. Some people we hire have no business being here and have no roots here, but are just intrigued by what's happening in this city. It used to be compelling that you could probably come here and spend less on real estate. I don't know that that's the case anymore. Austin has gotten less affordable every year. But I think this is still a place where folks can feel like they're contributing to this like ongoing narrative that is Austin.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's no decade that didn't potentially think their decade was the best decade and that the next decade it got a little worse. And it's funny because you go back and find these old interviews of, you know, Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings talking about Austin, or you find amazing, slacker era 90s interviews about Austin. Whatever period you take, there's people who think it's the best thing ever and that it's about to change for the worse. And I think that's just because it's so beloved. But what's interesting is I think anybody who comes here is kind of hoping for and signing up for a little bit of the, not just to keep it weird, but that this is a place where people are trying to make some weird dreams happen and trying to do something, live a life a little outside the normal lines. And I think as long as that's the case, then whatever the 2026 version is going to be will still be interesting.
I was going to ask you, where do you see this city heading? Like, where is it going?
Right now it's going pretty vertical. If you look at our skyline.
A lot of condos, a lot of mixed use.
And probably going to sprawl all the way to San Antonio. But no, I think what I like to tell people who are interviewing here and thinking about moving here is like, Austin is a place where if you feel like being grounded and being rooted somewhere, you can do that here. You can build community. If you also have a little bit of wanderlust in yourself and you want to potentially move to some different cities, you can experience that staying here in Austin too, because this city is going to feel like a new city every 2 years. And so you can always find pockets of old Austin that keep you grounded in this place. And every week there is a new restaurant opening, a new thing happening, and it makes it feel like the city's changing around you in a way that keeps it kind of dynamic and new.
Yeah, love that. I want to talk about the advertising industry in Austin. It sounds very inviting. It sounds very warm, friendly. Is that a function of maybe, you know, as Austin grows as a city, it's kind of like it doesn't feel like a zero-sum game in the sense that like there's a lot of work out there just from the city itself, and then obviously like outside, obviously you work with clients that are not just in Austin. But speak a little bit about that interaction. I also have a funny note that I want to confirm about the people at McGarrett Jesse reaching out when you all first moved here about like them being excited, and I thought that was an interesting story.
That's 100% true.
Yeah,
confirmed.
100% true. You heard it here first.
Investigative journalism, and that's how you do it. That was a Jack special.
No, I think that's what.
Nice job, Jack.
I think that's what Rob was referring to. It was very disarming to come here and have the other agencies that were already here welcome us with open arms. And now we understand what that feels like when agencies have opened after us. We understand that what's good for Austin is good for all of us. And quite frankly, if I am a candidate and I'm thinking about moving to Austin to work at Preacher, I would want to know that there's some security and other opportunities there as well. And so the idea that there are multiple places here that are exciting to work, we're all a little bit different. And so I think people can find their fit.
Yeah.
And then there's also client side jobs here that are really interesting. And the more that opportunity is diversified, I think the more safe it is to take a leap and move out here or move your family out here or buy a home, because we're not the only shop in town.
And I'll tell you that I can remember a time there was a team that wanted to work here and they were ready for their next thing. And their CCO at GST&M and I talked because he didn't want them to leave Austin. He knew they were ready for their next thing and were going to leave, and he'd rather them come to Preacher than leave Austin.
Yeah.
Like that's super unique. I think. I think we're all kind of friends at these different agencies. Many of us have some University of Texas roots, but not all. You know, it's the same mix. Some people are from here. Some people came here for something else. But I think there's this kind of very shared respect of each other. That doesn't mean people don't move around sometimes, but it's very different than any place I've ever worked. And not just about hiring or recruiting. Genuinely rooting for each other. Like I get bummed if I hear one of our peers lost a pitch for something that I could imagine being right for them. And I think the same happens to us because we can all feel if there's good things happening in Austin, it's not just about the agencies, it's the production companies, it's the freelance designers, it's the filmmakers, it's the editing company, it's all the folks who have a vested interest in an Austin community. And I do think we've been lucky enough in our time here to see it growing. There's more players in the market, and I think that's a healthy thing. You're right.
Yeah, and it makes some clients that are searching for the right partner or search consultants that are trying to get to know different agencies or even production companies that are trying to get new partners. It's if they can come to Austin and knock out a handful of visits, they're going to be more likely to come. So it's important that we build like a whole network of creative options here.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover. The one thing I was going to ask about, what's your advice to, let's say New York, the New York ad industry? What can they learn from the
That's a good question.
That's a
Jack.
great question for Krystle.
Wow.
Good question alert. The whole crowd just went nuts. There's a standing ovation. But what's your advice, like when it comes to lifting each other up and rooting for each other? What can the New York agencies learn
Should
from
New York
Austin?
do that?
Yeah, can they do it? Is it even possible?
Why should they?
Well, I think some of that's already going on, or at least I witnessed it. I mean, New York's got great community as well, but it's a much more crowded market. I think the main difference between New York and what we're operating here in Austin, and this isn't the first time either of us has worked in what you would call maybe a secondary market. I worked at Crispin in Miami when it was doing awesome things. You worked at Arnold in Boston. And there is something special about focusing on the work and not getting distracted on what everybody else is doing. And when you are, location-wise more isolated, it's a lot easier to do that. And in New York, it's a little bit easier to focus perhaps too much on what your neighbor is doing. And so I think that could be one piece of advice for New York agencies is, be part of the community and support each other. But when it comes to the work, maybe a little bit more spiritually isolate yourself and get people to focus on what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think the thing that coming up for many of my years in New York advertising that I loved and is why I have lifelong friends now coast to coast and around the world was there was this community spirit that I hope and expect is still there, where regardless of where you worked, you were part of the ad industry, and they had these events and these. Yes, some of it was parties, but some of it was just general, huge get-togethers, and I hope that's still happening. And if it's not, I think that would be a piece of advice: is getting people together, and we're actually trying to do that more here because that maybe didn't happen as much back in the day in Austin. But that is something I think I feel very blessed by. Was like what a group of people I was a part of, and we've tried to kind of do that here now in Austin.
Yeah. You're Austin. It's probably transitioned from getting together with the other agencies that are the few that are in Austin to now it's like the Austin ad industry gatherings. And I'm sure South by Southwest has contributed a lot to being able to build that camaraderie. Do you think that has played a big role as well? And how is South by Southwest? I know Preacher obviously does a lot with it and has a dope ass party, but
that we're expecting you to come to,
of course, and I will be there. That's
Thank
confirmed. What's that impact been like, and how important has it been to work with the city on South by Southwest?
Well, seeing as our event is unofficial,
Oh, my
we're
bad.
no, we're sort of just working alongside South by Southwest. I think it's such an amazing thing because it is that one time a year where all the attention is on Austin and everybody comes here. It's also probably our best weather. So everybody comes here getting a slightly false impression and wanting to move here. It's a great recruiting opportunity
Yeah,
for us.
great.
And it's where we all get to kind of show off as a unit, us and all the other agencies that are hosting events, this great city that we call home,
Yeah.
and get to be proud of it in front of all the visitors.
And the cool thing is some of the other agencies you visited on this trip, they do fantastic things too. We all get to kind of make our own little creative carnivals at our space and try to find time from producing those to bop to each other's because, man, you see so much creativity on display. I think we are very lucky that we have people from, not just the music industry, the film industry, the TV industry, other kinds of media all coming here for like one condensed weekend. We actually, by some luck, but it looked very intentional, launched ourselves at South by. But I think it was just kind of when the ink had dried and the movers had come and we showed up in March and this is a great time to reach out to Ad Age. We're real now. That's right.
Yep, that was easy. Been playing that for years.
But so I think it always does hold a special a place in our heart, and it is we are kind of lucky to have an entire creative industry coming to us once a year.
Sure.
I want to know more about Preacher, how you guys are different from agencies in Austin or just agencies in general across the U.S. or across the world here. Other notes that I took, like you have the galleries that you guys do. You have a recording studio. You have an artist in residency program, which I think is really cool too. I noticed the triangles. So any of this stuff here, like if we can get tangible and like how you guys are truly different from other ad agencies, I would love to hear it from your POV.
I mean, I can start.
Sure.
One of the things that I think sets us apart is our deep respect and emphasis on hospitality. And part of that, again, is appreciating the sort of great restaurant hotel culture here in Austin and believing that hospitality makes a difference, that we're not actually in a service industry, but we're in a hospitality industry. What that means is that everybody who works here cares not only about delivering an exceptional product or making business impact, but we care about how that experience feels for our employees and for our clients. And so if you work at Preacher or work with Preacher, we want you to have a remarkable experience doing so because let's face it, we spend a lot of time together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's probably one of the biggest things. So everybody here, all of our directors read Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. Everybody here is in sort of a very active practice of learning how to spot hospitality opportunities and create those moments. And I think it has impacted what it feels like to work in this industry, which can be a very take culture and a very jaded culture. And I think the people that learn what joy it is to actually be giving are the ones that are having more fun in this industry, quite frankly. And so when I look around at the folks that have been attracted to this place and that have stayed here and developed themselves here, most of our employees are the kind of people that think it's cool to care. And when you think it's cool to care, you actually know like 90% of the secret to having fun in this industry.
Yeah. What are some of those examples of those hospitality moments or things that you've gone above and beyond for your clients or for your people?
Well, it's not what you would think. It's not typical, just like wining and dining or doing anything fancy or that costs a lot of money. It has a lot more to do with listening to them, learning about them, and being able to think of them in thoughtful ways when you don't need anything. And so one of the things that we do when we meet new clients is we ask them who their preacher is. All our employees share that with us when they start here as well. And so if your preacher is somebody living or dead, real or fiction, that moves you and reminds you that it's our job to move people each day. And so if you just think about that, I wonder if someone's coming up in your mind for you.
Jack.
God, don't put me on the spot, man. That was a classic move by Jim. He just doesn't know his yet right now, so he has time to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
My preacher, gosh, I default to Michael Jordan.
Oh,
That's a good one.
We
Yeah.
actually have someone here whose preacher is also Michael Jordan. I'll make sure you meet him today.
Just for me,
He's kind of a bad dude.
like
With
his
his teammates and stuff.
of course. I mean, you knew he was gonna do.
Don't
He was
bring
gonna
up
spin
the
it.
gambling
No.
problem.
I,
There are so many other wonderful things about
I know
preacher.
that's what I'm
We
saying.
don't pick
don't
apart
think-
the preachers. We
Yeah,
just hear
it
why
doesn't-
they move a
It
person.
didn't sound not very hospitable of Gino to just immediately go after my preacher. But Michael Jordan, just for me, hard work ethic, just also a great business person. What's your preacher, dude? Jeez.
You've had time. You've had time.
Yeah, you had
now.
time to think of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Anthony Bourdain.
That's a great one.
Thank you guys. Thank you everybody.
I was showing you how to respect another preacher.
You know,
I think that's great, Gino.
But I won't tell you now what I could do with that information that would be thoughtful and hospitable. But you can imagine just knowing that about you, knowing that you have a personal connection to Anthony or to Michael, how that allows me to reach out to you and think about you in a way that feels good. That's just one small example of using hospitality in a really small way.
And I think more tangibly too, not tangibly,
Mhm.
I'll re-say this. I think more
Literally.
every day, I think we tried to set up this office and this experience a bit more like you turned up to a cool hotel or co-working
Mhm,
space versus
mhm.
what maybe people think a agency should look like. We tried to make our client meetings feel a little bit more like lunches that turn into happy hours, even though they're hardcore meetings in a conference room. Try to make the experience feel a little bit richer, a little bit more human, because I think you have more honest conversations that way.
Mhm.
You end up, I think, it feels less like a meeting, even though it's still scheduled like a meeting. It feels
Mhm.
more like hanging around a table with people talking about
Mhm.
something. And we all think how many times you're out with your buddies and we came up with so many good ideas last night, and it's not just the cocktails. It's because you're loose and relaxed. So as much as we can achieve that in a day in, day out workplace, it just feels like we're having way more honest conversations about the work, and hopefully that's making the work get better.
When we care about when potential clients or existing clients come here to visit us, we care about every single touch point of their experience in this building, as well as like what kind of experience they're going to have while they're here outside of our walls.
Yeah. Is that hard to like communicate or get clients to believe in when you're first starting out? It feels, because it kind of feels like it's absolutely something that you need to like prove over time. Like it's one thing to talk versus walk the walk.
Mhm.
I'm interested like that, the experience, and I know we're kind of like going back in time, but the growth of the agency along with that consistent hospitality mindset.
Yeah, I think we just help people experience it in small ways for themselves. And so we're always going to prefer if an out-of-town client can come visit us and meet the people in person and see the place in person and experience that Texas hospitality themselves. And I will say in the earlier days, it was probably harder to get hired as a Texas agency for a national client. But I think there's a few ways in which that's changed over the years. First of all, I think Austin has done us a big favor by just making it fun to visit here. So we have clients that probably think it's a perk to have an agency in Austin that they can visit, especially in the winter months.
We're definitely enjoying the fact that some meetings, it could be Zooms or not Zooms.
Yeah,
I'll just say,
absolutely.
especially if the weather's good.
I want to thank Delta Airlines,
Yep.
who Rob and I are big fans of.
Yep.
They're not paying me to say this, but I love Delta, and they keep adding more flights to our airport, making it much, much easier to come out here and visit.
This is no, this is interesting. That trickle down effect.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't thinking about Delta Airlines when they think
I'm
about
thinking about it.
As am I. Shout out to Delta Airlines, honestly. Yeah, that was fantastic.
I want to round this out here with the 5 questions that we're going to different agencies in Austin. Just want to consistently ask these, so we'll see what the different responses are. But
Sure.
First one, straightforward, couple sentences for each. But what's it like working in advertising in Austin right now?
What's it like, Rob?
I think it's really exciting because I think this is an honest answer. Let me restart this because I'm about to lose my thought, but I know what I'm going to try to say. I think it's really exciting because it does feel like there's so many people here that have worked all around the world and for whatever reason have found themselves in Austin, it feels like it's a time when really good work is coming from a lot of places. So it's like both inspiring and exciting. You're kind of looking around and going, man, there is good stuff coming from all over town. It just sort of, you feel like you're part of something. You feel like you're part of a time where a lot of our peers are working with big national and global clients. It's not Austin advertising, it's advertising in Austin. And I think right now it feels kind of electric.
It does. And it feels like a place where you get to live here and you also get to have a foot in other places, because most of our employees have reason to travel for production or for client meetings or to go to our international mission in Amsterdam. So it's like it feels like there's possibility,
Yeah.
How would you describe what it's like to work at Preacher today?
Well, everybody got breakfast tacos today, so they're probably
Yeah.
in a great mood.
Yeah. No, I think working at Preacher feels like, or what I hope, let me re-say this. What I hope working at Preacher feels like is that you get to come do your best work, your most inventive work with a pretty good amount of autonomy, but with the support and the steering of a lot of great people around you. You know what I mean? It's like you get to exist yourself, but within this greater, really engaged and I think caring crew. Because we're realists. Like at the end of the day, everybody here could probably find a place to work a little easier or make a little more money or whatever it might be. And something about the energy of trying to make things different and interesting and different and interesting and exciting together. It's binding them together. I think we just celebrated someone's 10-year anniversary today of our 11 years, but also we've got 4 or 5 more that are 9 years right behind her. And that, I mean, for an 11-year-old agency, I think we're really proud of the fact that people are sticking. And so I think it's making it feel like you're a part of something. So I think we're really proud about that.
That's golden. So this is an interesting question. It might be a hard one, but what kind of people do best at Preacher?
That's a hard question.
Mm.
Good question.
I'll take a hard question to start. I think definitely a little bit entrepreneurial. And I say that because we've had at least 3 design firms form out of Preacher, another advertising agency, and a production company. So I feel like people are coming here, being a part of the hustle and the growth and the fun, and they learn a lot, and then they go do their own thing. And I think that's really exciting. We're really proud of that. I love the fact that there's like Preacher pockets now in LA and New York and Richmond and Miami and Denver, but they all still get together and hang. And I think they were bound by this like want to just do interesting things out in the world. My answer's getting clunky now. I'll turn this back around. Or you can pick it up. Cut me off.
I already mentioned this, but people who think it's cool to care. I mean, Rob is the most optimistic guy I know, and that has filtered through the whole place. And so he believes deeply, I mean, don't let me put words in your mouth, but that, optimism is the only way to get to great work. And so when everybody here believes that, and we definitely hire for that, like, can you see possibility and solution in things? Do you like solving riddles? Do you, appreciate that client feedback can actually help you make the work even better? Those sorts of things make for better work, and those sorts of people, I think, find a really good home here.
Absolutely. What kind of clients and work define your agency today?
Well, we only work with clients we believe in.
True.
It's easier said than done, but we're pretty protective of the front doors. And because we understand that no matter what kind of culture we build at Preacher, we are, we're essentially having our employees spend time in the culture of our clients' businesses for part of the day. And so the best that we can vet that going in and understand that even when new clients are interviewing us, we're interviewing them as well, because we want there to be a healthy, respectful, exciting, ambitious environment for when they're spending time with our employees. So I think that's part of it.
And I feel like we're pretty lucky right now. The clients that are defining us right now are a lot that are maybe kind of a premium choice in their category, but are also still acting like challengers. I don't know exactly how this happened, but it's great. We have some like really brave, exciting clients who I think are kind of pushing us, to be
Yeah.
honest. Which
And
is-
understand that like we're probably not going to break through to audiences in the most traditional way. And so they're open to us breaking the playbook. They're open to us taking risks. And I think those kind of clients and the ones that allow us to flex all our muscles and do all the things that we're really good at and want to collaborate as much as we do, those are the ones that I think get a lot of fans in our halls.
yeah.
And one word to describe the culture of Preacher, and then a couple other words if you needed to.
Rob?
One word.
And
you,
a couple
you,
others
you guys are training her well.
Yeah.
This is going to be the end of me.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Oh yeah.
mhm.
Culture.
One word to describe culture.
Belief.
Dang it.
I win.
That was a good one.
Mhm,
Crushed it, Lee.
mhm.
Oh my God.
I win. Just accept it.
Krystle won. I don't know if I can beat belief.
Belief is very good.
That's very
Belief
good.
is a really good one.
Mhm.
Gino, what would you say?
For Preacher?
Yeah.
Describe the culture here. It's on strategy was like, or on brand is like what I'm thinking right now. Strategic, maybe. I don't know. Just cohesive.
Shit, that was a good one.
Were you going to say that?
No, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say intentional.
Intentional is good.
like that one?
That's good.
Yeah, there's like 50 letters in that word, so it's kind of like a bonus Scrabble.
It's not
word.
Scrabble. Yeah, it's Scrabble. It's a
Great
good Scrabble
Scrabble
play.
Everything is intent behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything feels mapped out to the inch. That's why I thought it was super interesting that you brought up like hospitality, like touch points
Yeah.
for the guest. Like every moment, every interaction kind of reminds me of a little bit of a marketing strategy, Gino, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, what's the customer experience?
Yeah, the
so to
journey.
speak, the customer journey.
I'm excited to see what people say. And like,
Yeah, I'm excited to get around. We're
are
gonna
they
vet-
as
vet
intentional?
some
Yeah.
of the
Are
So,
they-
answers.
are the people
okay,
as
so
intentional?
You're gonna actually pressure test this
Against
the
the real people.
that
Yeah.
work at Preacher.
Yeah, it's one thing to say at the
I
I hope
top.
we get some more confirms.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 1 for 1 on the.
What should we
you
ask?
confirming
You
the
want us to
storms.
like ask anybody
Yeah.
like something like you curious about something, how a project's going? You want us to check in?
We could do some
Y-
check-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Who do you like better, Rob or Krystle?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
we
a good
can't.
idea.
We can't do that.
I'm gonna do that for sure.
No, don't do that.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, Krystle.
Everyone knows that that's a trap.
It's gotcha journalism right there.
Plus, they're
Yeah,
going to be
that's-
more scared of Krystle. It's going
It's
to be like
and I'll
23
win
to
again.
2.
Oh,
Yeah.
last question. You all have I think you have an interesting situation. You're like the partner's room. It's like an office
Mhm.
for you all, but you like you all share it.
Mm-hmm.
When Seth comes in town, are you like, oh God, we got to share the room with Seth? There's 3.
No, in fact, Seth was in town a couple weeks ago, and we kept getting little texts from people about how cute it was to see the 3 of us together again. So I think we love when our brother's back.
Krystle, this is true. Krystle cried when he left, and
Yeah.
she's never cried
He
when I've left the
interrupted me
office.
on a
Never.
client Zoom, and I started crying.
Jenga said, "Oh God."
Oh God.
God.
Oh God. I don't know. I don't know if you're able to talk about it or how to talk about it because I don't really know the full story. But what was the decision like for Seth to go to Amsterdam? Are you able to talk about that?
No, happily. I mean, we'd had this idea of missions for a while because we didn't know if we needed necessarily another office, but over our more than a decade now, there's been a few opportunities like, ooh, we would kind of need to be there if this happened. And we kind of got this idea, well, does it have to be another office of Preacher? Could it just be a mission? And maybe one mission is about a specific new kind of industry you wanted to be in, or maybe a mission in this case is about being more global. You know, we had a few global clients that were wanting more global presence, and Seth also had a personal want for his family to spend a few years in Europe while they were still able to do that in the kids' school life. And so we were like, well, then let's make that a mission and see what happens and try it, not without the promise that it'll become a full-fledged office. But the way it's going right now, I think that's gonna happen, and I think it's been really exciting, not just for Krystle and I and Seth, but for I think everybody here to, in addition to what's happening here every day, to know that there's this other entity that brings new opportunities, as you can imagine, for our designers, a whole new branding system in Dutch, as you guys got to see a little bit of. Finding some really great people from all around the world who are in Amsterdam that have the same values of Preacher, now turning up in their own way, but similar. And we've now got a couple of projects going where people here and there are working together on the same assignments and clients. It's really exciting.
That is really exciting. Wow, that's a mission. I like
mission.
that. And how? So he's been out there for now what? Almost 2
About a year.
About a year.
About a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And how does he like it? I love it. We can ask him too. I don't know why I'm asking you guys how he likes it.
Good question, Jack.
Yeah, thank you.
I think he likes riding a bike more than driving.
Yeah.
So
certainly
in that
that.
way,
He's found his place for
Yeah.
at least for now.
happy to be riding on two wheels down the canal. And yeah, I think they're him and his family and the folks that we've brought on at Preacher Amsterdam are representing us very well.
Yeah.
And it's also cool to see that there's preacher people probably in every pocket of the world.
Right.
And we've found some of them over there already, so that's exciting.
Well, super cool. We'll check in with them.
Yeah,
check in with that.
We'll
Let's
check
get
in.
some more verification.
Yeah.
We went there. He wasn't there.
Yeah,
we
we
went
missed
there.
him, but
Yeah.
we'll catch him soon.
He might be avoiding you guys, and that will confirm.
We will. Oh, yes, we will.
We'll find out.
You have your own journalism to investigate journalism, uncover. The roles are reversed, but I think that's all I got.
Yeah. Last question here. How can people reach out? They want to work here, or if they're clients that want to work with you, where should they go?
Don't call the phone number because nobody answers that. But definitely reach out to us. New business at preacher.co.
New business at preacher.co. And for hiring,
I don't know.
Jess.
Well,
Nice job, team.
that was
Man,
awesome.
So awesome to have you guys. Thank you.
Of course, and we're gonna uncover some more.
Go,
We're gonna go find out if everything they said is true.
go hang with our people.
Okay, fair enough. Let's do it.
All
right.
Good luck.